Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. I'm here joined with Inti Campo,
Good morning, everyone.
and we're going to be talking about a few things today. One is, of course, is Bitcoin, and the other is the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book that was written by Robert Kiyosaki and discussing what happened to people. I know so many people who have followed his advice, and they're probably gone broke right now during this crisis. And so we're going to be talking about what to do, what are some of the lessons you've learned, and what to do in that. And basically, this will be my advice. So just keep that in mind. And Inti, let them know what they need to know about the trading here with my advice.
Yes, as always, it's good to remind you that this video is for entertainment purposes only, and this is not a financial advice. You should always do your own research before putting your hard-earned money on the market. So be careful following what you're hearing from a YouTuber.
Exactly, including me.
including Davinci.
All right, so with that said, let's head over to the charts of Bitcoin, right? Not much to see on the first. Let's start off with the weekly. Weekly, another green candle. Looks like we're going to print another weekly candle, green. Awesome, right? Radical, beautiful. The question now is, where do we go from here? Where's the top? Where's this thing going to roll over? Because this thing can't continue up straight up forever, right? We have a lot of different traffic areas that we could possibly roll over here. Of course, this trend line down, the 61.8 and come back to the trend line, the 78.6 and come back to the trend line. We need something to give us some sort of clue where we're going, right? So that we can trade with some sort of confidence. And I think I might have found that. So, I've been stressing out for that for quite some time now, and I did finally found an AB equals CD that looks like its target is realistic and genuine. Let's take a look at what that is. So what I did, right? First, let me just go back to the daily. Close, wrong screen, and come on, okay, wrong thing, there we go. And what we're going to do is draw extensions from here to there. What the extensions are is basically levels that the market may extend to based on the Fibonacci principles. And some of the numbers are like 1.13, 1.27, and 1.44, and the best is obviously the 1.168. 1.618. And that looks juicy. But let's get a little realistic here, right? 11,436 seems interesting, right? It's not exactly the 78.6, but it's close enough, right? But what I found is if we take a look at where the 4 hour goes, oops, I must have put it on this one right here, 4 hour, right? If we do that, take a look at where the 4 hour goes. The AB equals CD goes to. Right there at the almost 435, right? 435 right there. And what was that? Oops, wrong one. Let me just go back. I have it on here. Oh, look at that. 11,431. Oh my God. You can't, oh my God, that's just perfect. So there's a nice, perfect target. Lines up with the 78.6. The Fibonacci extensions 1.13. and we have an AB equals CD. Once we have like a confluence of numbers, I tend to notice that that's where the market attracts to when we have a confluence of numbers based on the Fibonacci principles and so forth. So I love seeing that. I would say that we're heading up in that direction. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's not going to be easy. It's going to probably shake off a lot of people because it's not going to let people come in on this thing just like that. So I would be careful of taking along right at this level. We're a little bit in the nosebleed section, even though we've created like a cup and handle. We've created like we created a W. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could say here, right? In the trading patterns, right? So I would be careful. This thing could easily like dump on you for a little bit and then take off. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the market decided that it wanted to come back to the 61.8 before it decided to take off.
Davinci?
In order to, yes.
What was the specific target level that you did with Fibonacci extensions?
We said 11,438.
Awesome. Perfect.
I said it several times, and right up here where I said, well, look at this number, and it's 11,435, and the other one's 30 something. Yeah. So anyways, so the 61.8, right? If we scroll out, you can see it's 8,800, approximately 8,800 on the perpetual swaps on Bybit. And that's, and because there's so many, like, what's the problem is, right? What I've got concern here, when I'm looking at this, right, and I go back down to the hourly, what I see is a lot of higher lows. And so what I see is a lot of liquidity events. And what I learned in the try courses is, and then they went for the stops, right? Before they actually take off. That's a normal event to occur in the what's it called? In the normal markets of traditional financial markets. And because this is becoming more and more traditional, I expect them to do the exact same thing. I wonder if that's probably not a good idea there. So anyways, there we go. I expect them to basically try to take out all these people who have stops along here before we go higher. So I'd be very, very careful. This is a normal thing that the banking system would do, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised if not Bybit, but probably BitMEX is trading against us and doing exactly that, and setting up to wipe out all the longs along the way before we go higher. So be careful. All right. If you do decide to trade this, and if you do decide to trade this, of course, you can head over to Bybit. .davincej15.com or femex.davincej15.com, and you'll get bonuses, of course, for doing so. The outlines of the bonuses are on the bonus page. You can get up to like almost $1,000 worth, more than $1,000 worth on Bybit, and $112 on Femex and so forth. So but before you do that, I would highly suggest you learn how to trade. And everything that I know, I learned from the Rational Investor. Try. And you can head over there and get $50 off that course, the first year course, by following my link here. Alrighty. With that said, let's head over to let's talk about the main topic about today. I read this story and I felt really bad for this person, and that's when I decided to do this discussion today, and I want to do it in two parts. Remember, I haven't written out all my notes because I just thought of it this like an hour before the show. So I want to make sure that you learn something from learn from the mistakes and realize that what you did was a mistake. Learn that how to move forward, right? How to move forward, and where do you start when you've hit rock bottom, and how do you build back up, right? Okay, and that's what I want you to take away with at the end of the show. Okay, so with that said, this is what somebody wrote in one of the chat groups that I'm in. Please forgive me for an inappropriate post. I mean no disrespect. I keep hearing, seeing, and reading about we're all in this together. I lost my business. We had so many apartments running on rentals, vacation homes with good income, and now I have zero income coming in. I'm letting go staff every day, and it breaks my heart. I've never felt so alone in my life. I feel like no one even knows I exist. I am applying for jobs daily, yet no one is hiring, especially a successful hospitality business owner like me. No job, no health insurance, no food, no money for bills or kids' education, no money for utilities, cell phone, car payments, rentals, or mortgages. Banks and landlords are hounding me, and I'm scared. I'm trying to not to be selfish, as I know I'm not the only one in this situation, but on the same breath, I need help too. So let's have a discussion, my friends, on it together, and we'll work it like a team. All right. That's a really sad story, and I'm sure there's a lot of that going around. I've met so many people running businesses where they would rent out homes, either through Airbnb or just direct rentals, and even Inti, your family does that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your parents do that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and they're also suffering a lot from that because of the virus as well, right?
Yes, because of we've got the protests here, and we're having with the pandemic, with the bird flu, no one came in, and we have like a good month or two where zero income.
Yeah. So your camera's frozen for some reason.
No, I don't.
It's okay. Let me just see if I can fix it. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now your camera. Well, I'm not sure if that's where. Yeah, well, we'll deal with that. Okay. So, anyways, I understand. This is a really rough situation. But first, you need to reassess how you got here, right? How did you get here, right? Because if you just look at, oh my God, I need help, and I don't know, I need people to help me out and give me money so that I can survive. You're gonna just repeat it again, and the worst thing you can do is take this event in your life and just ignore the educational value of it. I was much like all of you guys that are in this spot, basically, because I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, right? And basically it said that, hey, you know what? You could use, there's good debt and bad debt, and good debt is when you're taking money in based on that debt, For example, you bought an apartment building and you rented it out, and the income from the apartment building is paying off the mortgage and putting some money in your pocket. A bad debt is when you purchase a house and you live in it and you pay the mortgage. Or you purchase a car and you with debt and you pay the monthly fees. That is bad debt, right? Yeah, so that's pretty straightforward. And yeah, you can easily agree with that. However, there is something that they didn't mention to you, and I'm sure all of these people, every single one who's in this boat, what you did was probably you made some money. Let's just say, for example, you borrowed $10 million, and the amount of income coming in was about approximately $1.1 million. But only $1 million went straight back to expenses, both your your expenses and your banking finances, paying off the loan. And that's all good, well and good, and you got $100,000 left over for yourself, for example. What you needed to do, right, of course, is to save that, and you probably did. Most people probably, if they were intelligent and hardworking enough to do that, I'm highly sure that you saved some money for a rainy day, right? And now that the rain is here, you are probably hanging on to those assets for dear life, because it's all you've ever known, and that's understandable, completely understandable. Because when I realized the top of the market on the crypto assets, I had a hard time letting go of those assets, even though I knew it was the top. And so I had to get my wife to sell all my assets at the top, even though I knew it was the right thing to do mentally. I just couldn't do it because I've been buying these assets and watching them grow, and like, how could I just uproot them and sell them and throw them away like that, right? And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. But you know what? The time has come, right? That I had to do it, and it was the right thing to do. It was right on. It was the perfect call. Now, the same thing is happening to all those people who own properties right now. The right call is to dump those properties. That's the right call. I don't know if you're going to do that. Another option, of course, is to use the leverage to get whatever equity that's out there, and especially if you have like a non-recourse loan where they can only take the property, that would be probably the best thing to do. And just take the money out and use it to purchase non-traditional assets. Right? And why do I say that? Why do I say that? Okay, so for example, let's just say you purchased if you purchase like stocks, other bonds. Well, then they're going to come after those traditional assets because they have access to those traditional assets. And I know it's not fair that all you have is a liquidity problem, right? That you don't have any income coming in, and just like the airlines, and they're getting a bailout, but you know what? You don't know what the golden rule about lending, right? What Robert Kiyosaki didn't tell you is this: if you owe a bank $10 million and you can't pay, you've got a problem. If you owe the bank $10 billion and you cannot pay, the bank's got a problem. So, with that being said, right, you cannot expect a bailout, period, and just live with it, right? You're not that big. You're not big fish. You're not getting a bailout. You're just gonna have to deal with it. And so, how do you deal with it? How do you move forward? Well, you know what? It's not the end of the world. You have to I'm sure you have assets somewhere. Especially in this guy's story, you could see he took his time to lay people off, right? He mentioned that in his story. He took his time to actually do what he needed to do because it hurt so bad. And I get it. It hurts. It hurt me. I don't know, even though it's assets. I'm not facing somebody and saying, hey, I got to let you go because I don't have any money to pay you. That's 10 times worse, right? I get it. But he's got to face reality and say, listen, this is what I got to do, and I got to do it right now. And and you have to do what you already know you got to do because the situation warrants it. That means you have to sell your assets, you have to close up shop, and you have to look for other means of making money because this is closed. This avenue of revenue has closed. Whether you own a bunch of apartments for Airbnb or even apartments to rent to other people. Not a good idea in this environment because the government's going to be nasty to landlords who basically want to throw people out on the street. Not going to be a good situation to be a landlord right now. So, how do you go forward? Well, obviously you have stuff around the house. Like for example, I'm sure you got like a spare computer lying around. Like I got this computer right here. You got stuff like that. You got to start selling that. You got to start immediately selling that stuff on eBay and whatever a website. Losing focus there. So or wherever you can to raise capital. You got to raise capital everywhere. Notice how you can sell these things without the banking system knowing that you got the cash. This is the kind of thing. This is why I mostly own gold, silver, and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies because I know that financial assets that are regulated and controlled are the worst to have because now they can say, well, you've got that and you're going to pay me my money. No. So they can actually take it from you in some cases. So if you have traditional assets, so don't own traditional assets. Whatever you do, right? Own assets directly outright so that you can actually navigate the situation a little bit better. Because there's nobody coming to your rescue from the government. And if they do come to your rescue, that's just bonus, extra cash for you. But don't expect it, right? This is not the movies. You're not you're not being held hostage, and then somebody's gonna ride in and rescue you at the very last moment. No, that's not happening. So. What you need to do now is to build up your cash equity and start planning for what you can do differently moving forward. And in this case, the person who has a lot of employees, he's a good manager of people, of people who have low skills and low abilities, and he's a good organizer. So I think he should really sell himself to online businesses. That, hey, you know what, I can organize your business with low cost labor, right, to help you accomplish something to improve your business. So you could sell yourself in that way. And it sounds like he's also a good a speaker and motivator and stuff like that. So another thing you can do is get on Twitter, right, and tell your story, right, and see if that will get some bailout money coming your way as well. So it doesn't hurt. I mean, this money printing is definitely going to the billionaires. Why not get some yourself? Because this is not going to stop. It's not right that the billionaires are only one getting it, and it's not right that even you are the one who might be getting some. But that's just the way that's our current financial system, and you're going to have to use it to your advantage. And so, I really think that you can really retool. Of course, it's going to be painful, but never forget that you're never going to leverage yourself unless you can leverage yourself so large that it becomes somebody else's problem. That's how you deal with it. All right. So with that said, right? If I hope that helped you guys. If not, yeah, just send me some messages, right, on Twitter, or I'll actually post a message in the comment section below. I'd like to read through your stories if you don't mind, and share your stories. Inti, do you have any stories to share?
Any stories to share?
Yeah.
About the situation?
Yes.
Nothing particularly interesting.
Okay.
I could tell that how, for example, my parents knew that this was going to happen, and also thanks to you, because you give us a couple of advices. And yes, my parents are currently being landlords, and well, when all this this social explosion here in Chile, you know, there's a lot of protest. We lost a couple of businesses. Then came the pandemic. The pandemic put us underground, but because they were wise enough to save money, get it out of the bank, I started investing in other places. When all this happened, they already had they were full stock of food, and they knew that they had to stay inside. And even if with no money income, we didn't have problems like eating and paying rent because we have money saved for that. So yeah, we could say that we were lucky, also wiser, and also got the right advice. But it's nothing like particularly interesting or motivating story for the public. So
Well,
I'm not going to bore you with that.
All right. Well, that is still interesting information that you guys you saw the writing on the wall. You read the tea leaves and you took action. That's always a good thing. I mean, that's what got me. People saw me and got interested in seeing more of me, is because they saw that I saw the tea leaves and I took action. So, anyways, that's always a good story. So, what kind of questions do you have for us?
Yes, before going to the questions, as I always do, we have 643 viewers right now. So people, if you are to continue supporting Davinci and you want to do it for free, please don't hesitate and leave your like here. We highly appreciate it, and it really helps Davinci.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, now we are going to the super chats. So we have our great companion, the one that always is there, Super Google Lee. Thank you for your support, sir. And he asked, I currently have Bitcoin and Ethereum and a small position in Dash, as you recommended. Remember not to follow blindly what Davinci says. Do your own research. What other alts should I get at a small exposure to capture the next altcoin round?
Well, I'm going to probably regret this, right? But I would also recommend XRP.
Oh, really? You! Oh my God! They always say strong opinions lose health.
Exactly.
This is an example.
Exactly. So the reason why, because the XRP army is very strong, and although Garlinghouse is nasty genius, he is a genius, and they most likely will do well going forward, especially if they get inside the banking system and help lubricate the back end of the banking system. This XRP will take off. So I know that's a lot of ifs, but it's worthwhile, because that's what an investment is. Is like you look at the tea leaves and take a chance that if will come true. So I think it's worth taking a small chance with your portfolio, but not something huge or anything like that. That's something that you should nibble on. Another thing, of course, is Monero is a good option to buy. A long-term option is on the Mimblewimble coins, basically Grin and Beam. Getting a little bit of those exposure to those coins and holding on to those coins is probably a good idea as well. It will take some time for a lot of those coins to actually do see a profit, but I think nibbling at those coins whenever they fall will be highly advantage for you to do, right? But don't be buying any kind of price spikes in any of those cryptocurrencies. Make sure you're buying when people are crying and you see the prices drop and they're like, oh my God, it's dead, it's dying, it's gone. That's when you should be buying those coins and picking up a little bit more of any of those cryptocurrencies. Yeah, so, look at that. There's a little bit of a message there. Hang on, let me just switch cameras on.
The thing with the camera?
Yeah, exactly, because it's like I have it set to the screen of my iPod.
Dude, you said XRP and the world chat box exploded. I swear.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. This guy, Dirty Scan said, all XRP peeps, you screamed.
All right, next question.
All right. So this is another super chat from Jacob Wilson. Thank you, sir, for your support. And he said, "Could Bitcoin be a this is a classic. Could Bitcoin be a stop if a big enough nation, let's say, gain majority control of the mining network and force a majority vote on a change of the protocols?"
Okay, that doesn't work that way because there's a lot of when it comes to cryptocurrencies, right? There's especially Bitcoin. There's lots of people who have a vote, right? So, for example, anyone who owns a node, right, has a vote, and you can say, no, I don't agree with what the miner does, right? And some miners are gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna go with the people, right? And then you're gonna continue all you have is a fork, and the rest of the miners, nobody will go over to follow the miners who want to expand the money supply. Another person who has a big vote, is exchanges. They can also say, yeah, that's not going to happen, right? And follow the real money, right? And they don't really care, honestly. If those miners want to fork the chain, there will be miners who stay on the original chain, and the ones that go off on the Bitcoin too. Well, that's up to them, and I think people will go, yeah. Great, I got your Bitcoin too, which you're going to inflate, and the price will drop like a rock, whilst the other one will continue up because they'll just sell their extra coins on Bitcoin too, and buy more Bitcoin, the real Bitcoin, which has a limited supply. So they're really pretty much screwed if they try to separate out into another block, right? Because there will always be miners, always people who have a financial incentive. As long as there's a financial incentive, there will be people it doesn't matter that if all the miners said, yeah, I'll do that, there will always be one or two of them or enough of them to say, yeah, I'll do that, but lie and then go ahead and mine the original chain. So it's not going to happen. It just doesn't work, right? In this game theory, there's no way. And yeah, besides, there's so much mining equipment. I have so much mining equipment that eventually somebody somewhere will take up the mining equipment from an old equipment and mine the original chain. So it's not going away. You're never going to get rid of the original chain to make a fork into another chain and expect people to just follow you like a dog. No, that's not going to happen. All right, next question.
Next question. This is another super chat from Saint Roberski. Thank you very much, sir. And he asked, my friend thinks property in New Zealand will not get affected by this crisis. He thinks property will rise instead of going down. What do you think?
That's a yes and a no, right? That's the answer to that question, right? You're like, what? How do you mean yes and no? Well, that property, right, has a few things going for it. One is location, right? Then on top of that, right, there are certain types of property, right? For example, farmland, right? And then there's like homes, like regular homes, right? If you have a regular home in a bad location, right? It's not gonna appreciate as much as someplace else. Now, those are obvious statements, but the main thing what's going to happen once we go into a hyperinflationary event, which we're headed towards, right, is that the houses will all go up, no matter where they are, no matter what location, and that's most likely what's going to happen, but they will not go up in real value, and that is the most scariest thing, that most people are going to fall into that trap. They are going to fall for that trap. But hopefully none of you people who watch this or watching right now are not dumb enough to fall into the trap of seeing prices go up, but fail to notice that, hey, wait a second. Let me give you an example. Let's just say you have a house, right, that's $100,000 and a pizza costs $20, right? And then your house goes up like $120,000, and you're like, "Woo, I'm rich!" But pizza goes up to $40, right? You're thinking, "Well, you've made I made money. I made money." No, you didn't. You didn't. You're not noticing that you've lost quite a bit of money, like 40%, right? Because everything, pizza and everything else around you that you use every single day has gone up, right? Has doubled. And that's so easy to not see the difference where, oh, wait a second, this asset's gone up, and right, and I'm using it to save my wealth, but not noticing that everything else has gone up a whole lot more. And that's a trap that most people will fall into. Please do not fall into that trap. It's coming. Be prepared. Make sure you own hard assets that will increase in value, such as gold, silver, right, and Bitcoin. Properties will go up, but not as much as the gold, silver, and Bitcoin, and real assets that have real value. Because the reason why your property will not go up as much is because, of course, they were going to hyperinflate in order so that the banks don't go under, right? But that's what's really happening is that your value, the value is the value of the price of the house is dropping like a stone, basically, in value. All right, next question.
All right, I think this question is good about basic how value principles. This is from Kev Allen, and he asks, why is inflation mostly visible in assets like stocks, but not so much in essentials like food?
Okay, that's a good question. It's really simple because most people believe that the dollars that they have is real value. And what do they do with it? Well, I need to save it, okay? Well, where do I save it? Well, I can't save it in a bank because then I'll lose to inflation, right? And so what do? They go and buy stocks, they go and buy financial assets, bonds, whatever, to earn more money, to increase the value of their money and to get more value in dollars. And so that's why you'll see those assets go up faster than food or clothing or other commodities. And besides, if they were to try to invest in commodities, they would learn very fast, right? If they have enough money, that's illegal, right? So yeah, that's why you don't see the inflation in other assets. All right, one more question, and then we'll call it a day.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. This is a super chat from Jacob Wilson again. And he asks, what do you think is the government's current position on crypto and how they plan on dealing with it once the market cap is big enough to not ignore?
That's always trying to figure out what somebody else is going to do is a difficult set of predictions, right? Whether you're saying it a group of people or one person, it's always difficult to say it, for sure. But we can always speculate. And what do governments normally do? They generally choose to make life difficult for anybody who makes their lives difficult. So you can expect that, right? You can expect what they've always done, right? And so how precisely will they make life difficult? That's going to be an interesting situation for them, because it's not impossible for them to find out who has cryptocurrency, right? But what they will do is they will go to the playbook of, well, since we can't convince every single person, right, that we're going to get them, or we can't get to every single person who has cryptocurrencies. What they will do is they will go after one person and make him an example, a brutal example. You can see that happen with what's his name, with the person who ran WikiLeaks. Now I had the name on the tip of my tongue and it left me. Hate it when that happens. But anyways, Julian Assange. Yes, Julian Assange. I mean, he's been suffering in prison for quite some time, all because he exposed the truth about the United States government. And yeah, so they're making an example. If you want to expose the truth and make the United States government look bad, you're going to pay. You're going to pay dearly. And so you could expect that kind of reaction when the Bitcoin gets to a higher amount. Now, not guaranteed, of course, right? But I'm at the very least, right? They're going to be saying, well, you know what? We've got to manage this Bitcoin thing. How's the best way to do it? And honestly, if they were to ask me how's the best way to do it, to manage Bitcoin, is to support it. That's the worst thing they can do. Absolute worst thing they can do. Is support it. And the reason why is because that means that there's no reason to improve Bitcoin if you have the support of governments. There's no reason to improve it anymore, to protect against governments taking your money, to make it more stronger against governments. If the governments are like, no, it's all good, you can use it, it's fungible. We won't make things difficult for you. And this way, they'll have time to study and analyze and be able to use it to their advantage, right? Instead of because there will be holes that they can take advantage of, because those holes will not be exposed, right, as an attack vector. It'll be used as a means of, well, you know what? Since that's part of the rules of the game, we're just using it as an honest actor, and they will just spin it. They'll use whatever hole they can find in Bitcoin to spin it as a positive thing, and expect us to keep those holes there so that they can take advantage of it. So that's the absolute worst thing they can do, is support it. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys learned something. And if you have your own personal stories, I'd like to hear about it. Please write it in the comment section, and I will go through some of those comments today. All right. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't seen the video popping up right here, please check it out, and talk to you guys later. Bye now.
Bye. Cheers.
Cheers.